Hello people of YouTube world, YouTubers and stuff. So thought I'd try and bring to attention to some internet YouTube people the issue with headphones with high impedance, like that will work off of a crystal set. There's a crystal set issue now. These are Japanese, I think, 1960s style. I had a set of these when I was a very young bag of hooves, when I was an anklet. And what's nice about them is the cable never gets tangled up, because these go all the way around. But how they're made, you can unscrew these. These are tendon. What's happened there? These unscrew. They usually do unscrew. That's it. I think it may be the weather has caused them to get a bit cold, or I don't know, expanded. Normally heat that makes things expand. Anyway, that's a little gasket. And then we've got this diaphragm. Now, I had to build these up from, bought them off eBay. This is basically, a little magnet. I remember getting those types of earphones that were sold with transistor radios, and this is basically a bigger version. You've got a ring magnet, looks like the sort of thing you'd have on the back of a ceramic speaker, and there's a coil inside with the pole piece in there, and these work really well. I like these a lot. You know, the crystal set is one issue, but if you're working with transistors or ICs, any electronic audio project you're doing, it's very helpful to have a set of high impedance headphones. I'll tend to those later. Now this here is what they used in the Second World War, I think, and what it is it's called a balanced armature earphone. This is just the magnetic driver bit. That's the magnet there, and the coil's in there inside. And the way they would get the sensitivity up is to balance the armature exactly halfway using the diaphragm. They're very sensitive. They're only about 20, 30, 40 ohms impedance, something like that. Now the modern equivalent, well, I say modern, but this is a 1970s, 60s, 70s, 80s. These are the same thing inside, but made smaller, and they are just as sensitive. So I've come up with an idea. This is actually the cup, if you like, of ear defenders, set of ear defenders. I was thinking about, getting some ear warmers, and I thought, well, if you're going to pay £16 for something that probably costs very little to make anyway, and just because it's got advertises Disney on it, I thought, no, I'm not giving my money to Disney. No way. So what I've actually done here is I've that bit has got to be chopped away, because the earphone won't go in. So what I've done is the glue's still not set properly, so I've got a lump of cardboard and glued it inside there. That will be glued in there eventually, perhaps even some little clamps to hold it in place, because I find that Bostik isn't that wonderful. It's a cheaper version of Evo stick, really, Anyway, these are about to, obviously anyone who's taken apart a telephone would know exactly what they are. I attempted to glue these with hot melt and it just won't work. Aluminium and hot melt don't seem to stick together for some reason. I think there's a chemical reaction of some sort. So these are out of the, when you pick up an old phone, a typical UK, loads of them are floating around. They're usually mustard coloured. Any standard telephone with a dial on it. I'm not talking about the press button ones. I'm talking about the original, I think they were Plan 1A, ordinary telephone. Anyway, I've been collecting them. Anyway, so this comes out of the earpiece. The talky bit where you talk into, that's got a carbon microphone, which is probably some use if you want a carbon microphone. But addressing the issue of the crystal set high sensitivity earphone that you need, this is my way around it. Right, gluing to aluminium, there's always a little bit hit and miss. So, thinking of using another. This seems to be a bit more long lasting, a bit stronger, perhaps. Who knows? It tends to be a lot more dependable than Yoo-hoo, which is made in Germany. I think there's a place called Yoo-hoo where it's made. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. What I'm doing now is I'm used to get this in tubes. It's much easier to use. I think the idea is that people abuse it. They sniff it up, get high. So they, in order to prevent that from happening, they sell them in large tins now. So obviously don't get it down in the hole because that's where the sound comes out. Can't do that. It's naughty. So I should put it in the screen really. So this is what I've done. I've taken the thing apart. This has to break off with you get a screwdriver and it comes out, and then get cardboard, cut it just under the size of this thing, using this as a template to cut around. And next thing I'm doing is I'm gonna stick that there and hope that it stays in. Now a lot of people have made lots of suggestions about how to get headphones, a headset that's usable for, say, a one transistor radio, or even a crystal set, and the problem has never been solved. There's an American uploader guy that made some out of old cans, from food cans, and I've been looking for his channel, can't find it anywhere. You would imagine that if the Chinese like to make copies of things sometimes, and they do a very good job a lot of the time, not criticising them for a moment, but you'd think they might pick up on the whole headphone for crystal sets and one transistor radios. So anyway, this one problem with try not to say anyway too often. It's a bad habit. We all got it. We've all got that habit. Anyway. Anyway. So of course you could use a transistor amplifier, but you never know whether the actual crystal set's working. If it's got a transistor in it, is the transistor doing anything? If you want a crystal set or an amplified crystal set using a one transistor, which is quite a common project on the internet, on YouTube, you could just amplify it, but you know, the whole point of crystal set is you it's all free, you know. The energy to keep the headphone going comes out off the aerial. Now people use those ear like a crystal earphone, and they're not very comfortable to wear. They are high impedance, and the other problem with them, which is a good thing, but the other problem is you have to put a resistor in parallel with them. So there's a path for DC, and when the damp gets in, I think it's called Rochelle salt or something like that, they just degrade and eventually don't work. So I'll stick that there. Now the other thing that happens is I have to drill a hole in there to put the cable in. So this here, this is how this ends up. I mean, everything's being done in reverse really, which is a bit naughty, but they've got to be glued. That's got to be glued back. Now that obviously comes off of there. These are the cheapest ear defenders you can get from B&Q, £4. Now obviously most people think, going to buy a pair of ear defenders, what are you going to do with them? Well, yeah, we have got ear defenders elsewhere, and Shrub uses them when she's cutting wood and all that on the electric saw, but they are a bit uncomfortable to wear, so I'm thinking perhaps of filing this bit down. The rib tends to be a bit, the whole point of it is to stop noise getting in, obviously, to protect your ears. Now if I can take these out and work on them, it's much easier, I find, rather than, well, it's obvious really. There's the magic. So with this here, you have to, this all goes back together, perhaps using a spoon. Okay, this is the little cushion, ear cushion, and inside, obviously, there's nothing inside apart from sponge, so that comes out. Yeah, there we go. Slightly smaller screwdriver. The other one was a lot easier to get out, or it certainly felt like it. It's a shame you have to unglue it or whatever. It's probably RF welded, perhaps, who knows, something like that. It's all got to come out. There we go. Patience is a virtue here. Don't want to split the whole thing. That would be nasty if that happened. I'm actually wondering if perhaps a more expensive set of ear defenders would be more comfortable to wear. I'm wondering, you know, I mean, I tried these on earlier, and I must admit it's not much fun wearing them. You feel like you're having your skull crushed. It's one little issue with these ear defenders. There's a couple of little ribs there. Now, they might interfere with the gluing process, so I'm going to file them down. Okay. Back to the Bostik. So, quite simple. That's the glue there, like that. Coffee keeps me going. Not going to advertise, but there's I used to love coffee from Tesco's that was a Nescafe but they stopped doing that particular version, so now I go for Tesco's Azera coffee. It's cheap. Well, it's not actually. Don't buy it from Tesco's. I buy it from Lidl's because it's half the price. I'm not being sponsored. I'm just something I mentioned. Offhand comment, as they say. That looks quite nice. It looks like a professional 1960s radio with that speaker grill. Back to the boss sticking. God, I wish it wasn't for junkies. We could get this stuff in tubes. So sad. I don't know if Bostik would work here in this, you know, in this particular place. It might do, but I've never known Evil Stick to not stick to anything. It's almost anything it sticks to, it stays like it, you know. It's just the way it goes. I mean, it's like they got the formula right just the first time, but it does stink. It's not a very nice smell. Certainly wouldn't suggest breathing it in large quantities, like some people do, because they got mental needs and that. I mean, pretty much I'm thinking that I should upload the movie from this point. I mean, what I'm going to do now, obviously, well, you know, not now because it's late, but you take, for example, what needs to be done to get this completed. Well, it's quite simple, really. I mean, drill a hole in the cups, the ear cups. And the other thing, of course, is to always put the wire the transducers, these things, in series. So it's quite simple. I mean, I'll do a picture of it once it's finished, but it's quite straightforward, really. And you'd have to be someone of considerably lower intelligence than me, even. Oh no, don't self-replicate yourself. People will score points off you. You know, got to drill a hole there, hole in the other one. That's finished. Wire them in, obviously, using these are terminals, binding posts. They're really very well made, these things. That they would be, because, you know, the whole telephone network depends on decent quality build quality equipment. And that glues on there. Glue it back again. Now, I haven't trimmed off the little peg that sticks out. So my suggestion is to chop it off a bit by bit, rather than hack the whole thing off all at once. Chop a little bit off, like that. Okay? And then put this back, because obviously a little peg at the back of the transducer will keep it in place. Now that's all. Yeah, I would say that was about perfect. So all we need to do now is won't go that way because that's where it does, goes in both ways. The other one only went in one way, it wouldn't go in the other. That looks like it's where the breakages are, where I broke it. Yep, glue it, wire it in to that bit, and then it's done. Anything else, it pretty much people can figure it out for themselves. So with no more to do, I might take a photo on my next upload of them working, as I always like to show a project working, but it's fairly simple project this. I did try Walkman headphones and it didn't work out. I chopped them off as well. Didn't work out. Waste of time. This is the hot melt glue. It sticks to plastic extremely well, but it doesn't stick to aluminium, and it's the aluminium it needs to stick to. But this was one idea. Pair of cheapskate, you know, sound like a tin can, really low quality type Walkman headphones are probably about £3 or something, but it didn't work out, so they'll be going in the bin. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a go at building a set of these headphones for yourself.